across the summer. I think the minimum, they earn $10 an hour at the minimum, and it brought a total economic impact into the region of $287,195 into the region just with this particular initiative.
Let me
Come back.
no, the work sites that we've placed them, and a lot of you are familiar, so you're probably looking at me like, okay, where's my employer? But CVS, you guys know we place a lot of people at CVS, the food bank, the Houston Food Bank. Did we place some at the food bank in Galveston? I believe so. NTI Career Institute, City of Dickinson, Pennywise, H-Tech, City of Lamarck Police Department, Fort Bend, Promise, Aldine Family Hope Center, Walgreens, City of Wharton, Huntsville Public Library, to name a few. We have several other different smaller, maybe mom and pop places, but we're hoping that we have at least 10 times more placements this year than last year. We placed a lot of people at the food bank and CVS
Yes.
Last year.
Yes, and so we can probably talk about, it's kind of leading us into kind of how we're kind of coming together with our team approach. But for this year, you know, one of the things that as a board that we're wanting to do is, even though we're serving youth with disabilities, we know and we recognize that a youth with a disability is still a youth, right? And that they are, even though they have unique, you know, they may need accommodations and different things, but as a system, we want to kind of treat them as just a regular youth, that like we do with all of our youth that we're serving across the region, and that we're not necessarily making distinctions in that. And so we're trying to have a better integration and seamless services. And so even though it may be a youth with disabilities that's registered at VRS that's coming to us, it is in fact a youth that we would be placing universally, just like all of the youth that we serve in the region. And so with that comes the expansion of work sites. And we are partnering with like for instance, as you get closer within the city of Houston, it really is the mayor's prerogative. If you've heard about Hire Houston Youth, we are a part of that umbrella where the mayor wants to put over 7,500 youth to work in the city in a summer jobs program. So as a part of that, Summer Earn and Learn will be a part of that umbrella. And so we are hoping to expand opportunities this year. There are lots of opportunities for subsidized work sites with golf, like for instance, a lot of Hurricane Harvey restoration and repair, with a lot of conservation organizations, as well as we have a whole host of nonprofit work sites across the city of Houston and surrounding areas that have come to us to say, okay, we want to place a student this summer. So we're hoping with some of those initiatives we'll be able to do even more than what we were able to do last year. And we did have a real exemplary, CVS was just amazing in their commitment and work that they want to do with this particular project to place two students or two youth into Summer Earn and Learn placement in their store. And there's 147 CVS locations across the Gulf Coast region, and they were willing to make a commitment to take two at every store. And while we certainly know, CVS is just, we just want to kind of give them some basic skills. There's a lot that can be learned, even if it may just be at CVS. But we really we hope this is just the first foray, or maybe a first experience, that maybe they come in 1 year, maybe the next year we take them a little further, maybe to a little bit more. We start doing some more career exploration and really kind of get them into some high skill, high growth career exploration opportunities or work sites. The things that we really specialize in at the Gulf Coast Workforce Board with our youth when we're working on placements.
Now, I know you guys are probably thinking, I don't want them placed in CVS because that's not their goal.
Right.
again, it's work experience that we're really focusing on. And also, the focus is that a proper placement for that student. If that student's disability is not appropriate for CVS, please don't place them there. We will try our best not to place them there. If someone hates crowds or hates interfacing with customers, we can't place them at CVS. We might place them in an accounting place or even I don't know, another place that they don't have to interface with customers on a daily basis. Yes, sir. We will work with the counselors. We have been working with the counselors. I know that's one of our challenges. Was last year we placed them so quickly. We've had, placements that are not quite right, but those are lessons learned from last year. It's very important. Our application today, as we speak, will have information about their limitations, what's best environment for them, all that the counselors are going to have to complete that for us. Yes, right. It's not, none of them are off the table. Sure. Dr. Weber?
Tracy, half of East Texas comes down to the Houston Medical Center. Have you guys had luck with the medical center?
Yeah, I
Standpoint
do hear,
patient transporters, all, Aeromart and food service.
I do hear that there are some relationships with that particular, the medical center area, that there are some conversations that are being had. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to expand the work sites there even more. I mean, we're looking at this really as an opportunity across the board for all of the youth that are in our system that we're trying to place.
Coaching provided if needed?
Yes. This year's going to be a lot better flow with, are you a counselor?
No, I'm an
Advocate. Okay. We job coaching last year. We had several. This year we're going to streamline that a little bit better so that we have we're not having job coaches in each of the work sites. Several of them were not even doing anything because we didn't communicate with each other on how many job coaches. So we had a lot of more job coaches. But this year we're probably just going to assign each workforce centers job coaches.
So we had a lot of lessons learned, and so some of the coming together, taking two systems that are learning how to work with one another, and so some of the challenges that we had last year was coming together and how are we going to kind of team these youth that we're working with from two different systems, and how are we going to do that when we don't have, part of the problem is we don't have a shared case management system, for lack of a better word. And VR primarily has the relationship with the youth, and you're contracting our services as a board with this particular program to make the placement. And so what we're learning is that, the career centers may become involved and they're trying to do the placement, but yet they really did not have the relationship with the particular youth to know all the particular things they needed to do to make a successful placement. So with that, we know that it's very important as we come together in our integration that we have to kind of do more teaming together to make that happen. One of the things that happened is we didn't really have a strategic recruitment plan. We had VR that just went about your recruiting for all of the students who were interested, and we got a lot of interest back from your youth, but then we didn't necessarily trying to scramble to find work sites that were within the proximity of where they could go to. And so it's that in the workforce world, it's an old adage, like what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Do you develop the work site first, or do you go out with, and of course, you have to develop those work sites first before you kind of go out and just have this universal umbrella of participants that you're trying to place. And then, so what happened naturally was we saw some lag time. As from last year, we saw a lot of lag time trying to get our youth placed. And as the summer went on and we were still trying to develop sites, they started doing other things. Their summers are very busy and lots of opportunities for them. And so those were some of our specific challenges. I can tell you from the workforce perspective, it was really, I heard some wonderful down in our career offices with Workforce Solutions. You'll find us in literally every area. I heard wonderful stories just from our staff, our employment counselors, some of our business services members who really kind of got to know or started having some of those interactions and working with the youth, and it was just really, it would just really help them understand, how we kind of needed to do this work together so we know better.
Elizabeth.
So to, I don't know the woman's name in there, but she was mentioning about the work experience coaches. So, like we mentioned before, the counselor input was limited to none, as a part of it, as a consideration. And one of the things was that
That's what I was talking to
we have
earlier.
policies and we have structures and programs already in place. So what work experience coaching is supposed to be something that if you're doing well, you start cutting down the amount of hours for the individual. I got reports that some of my customers were doing extremely well, and then as I reduced the hours, I was told I'm not allowed to reduce their hours. The work experience coach has to stay there their entire time, and the person didn't leave. So I was giving a service that only stagnated my customers' progress because they always had somebody watching them and watching over them. But they could have done a lot better
Yeah.
if they were allowed to be more independent. So that's the thing too. Are we gonna, is our say so gonna be key?
I think that's more of a question for you.
Yes, and the workforce center staff are the ones saying that they have to stay there. Yes, it's a miscommunication, and definitely something that we need to educate them on
Yeah,
what
that's
the work
really,
experience.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you brought that up. That's really interesting. That I hadn't heard that. So that's something that I definitely kind of want to take back and we want to address if we haven't discussed that for sure.
And,
yeah.
I think the CVS also, they were worried that the work experience trainers were leaving and nobody was going to supervise the student. And we need to also educate the employers that they are work experience trainers. They we titrate the, and we let them go when they're doing fine, but the employers are the ones who are supposed to be teaching them. But that is something that we need to let them know. So, Kathy.
Also, something I would like to add as a challenge is giving them enough time for accommodations. I realized last year 2 deaf students, that morning they told me that they were ready for orientation that afternoon. They were lucky to have an interpreter available for both of those afternoon orientations, but she had to pay more for an emergency rate. So it's something that we have to prepare them for beforehand.
Yes. And we actually talked about this before as far as the job readiness training, the orientation. We do need plenty of time so that we can plan with the students, transportation, interpreter services, translators, whatever service that they need. And that's one of the lessons learned that we have. I was in the midst of that actually when people are calling me, asking me to provide transportation interpreter services, and there's an orientation in 30 minutes. So yes, those are the kind of issues that we've had last time. So miscommunication. Plus, and this is not an excuse, but we started very, very late. We were given information, the board was given information in April.
Yeah, the state contract came down in April and or maybe the end of March, early April, I can't remember, and we had to have this up and launched and ready to work sites established and trying to launch by May.
Yes, and we've told our upper management in Austin that already that
State.
we need plenty of time. But Betty.
Question I have is for consideration is, can the counselors have the names of the employers that are available, and we can help match them to appropriate employers?
It,
If we
yeah.
get the names of the employers in advance, or the jobs that are going to be available to us,
Well,
we could probably do the math and have the job coaches
that was our
ready
issue.
to go.
Actually, let's go further down. Job descriptions with the employers. We wanted that before also, the job description, so that we could place them appropriately. You know, a blind person, we need those job descriptions ahead of time. We can't just place them and say, oh, you could be a cashier, and we don't know what they're going to be doing. Um, yes, it is possible. Yes, because what we're going to talk about that on the what we're going to do this year. Some of the things that we plan on doing.
So part of that work that we know, and sometimes, and we recognize as on the workforce side of the house, that many of you who are VR counselors out in the field, you already have existing relationships with employers, right? And you know folks that maybe you might be able to place, and then we may have contacts. What needs to happen in the system integration is we need to be kind of teaming with one. You've heard me say that a lot, teaming to better and together, kind of locally within our local areas together, where there needs to be a better integration of workforce and VR coming together as a team to say, okay, if I've got these 25 youth and working very closely with your business consultant from Workforce Solutions as well as the team there, because we're in that area establishing a lot of relationships with employers, and so we have a lot to bring to the table. You have a lot to bring to the table, and you have a lot to share with us about what would be the best placement for this particular youth. And so those are some of the lessons that we learned, and we realized that we have to have a strategy that allows us to go out and partner for success together in order to make this initiative better, and that it is going to be a team-based case management strategy because there is on the workforce side with our contract, we are responsible for going out with and checking on the student. It's part of in our realm, checking with to make sure that it's a successful placement. And then how do we do that if you're the one that, as the VR counselor, that would be very important information for us to share back so you can help work with the student. And so there has to be a delivery mechanism in order to do that. And so we can't go out and be isolated on the work. And I think that's a lot of what we saw last year. Workforce Solutions was out working with, visiting the work sites, finding out issues, but yet maybe there wasn't enough information back to the VR counselors. And so that team approach and getting partners to know one another and sharing the job descriptions, understanding what's available, what would be the best placement in a team approach is how we hope to deliver this better this year.
Tracy, this last summer I had 6 rehab services students working as workforce monitors for the Texas Workforce Solutions in the East Texas area. Would you guys be recruiting workforce monitors, or like students, college students, like in summer internships, or would you be using in-house personnel for?
No, we will be hiring monitors like we did last year.
Okay.
Yes, definitely,
Okay.
to do that.
Any additional questions? Betty, do you have something?
The contracts, my understanding is the contracts for that are open now, so we're having trouble filling out those forms. I just added that, but teachers that I've presented it to, the forms are
I will bring that up to regional because those forms are our forms, the regional forms, and I agree.
yeah, I haven't gotten anybody to sign up because once I show them
It's
the forms, it
our
was
forms.
Okay, so I said not sure.
yes, no, for the job coach.
Work experience trainers to sign them up.
Okay, so let me tell you what we hope to do a better job of this year for 2018. we're moving our target. We have around $1.9 million, I do believe, for this particular program this year. We're going to the target is to serve 525 youth for at a minimum, 5 weeks of summer employment. If it's going well and they want to probably work a few more weeks after that and it's agreeable with everyone involved, we probably could do that. They'll probably make a minimum at least $10 an hour. And then, of course, we are expanding our vision to have more accessibility with various employers across the region. And being a part of Higher Houston Youth and all that brings with the Mayor's Initiative helps us do that. We're improving our system integration, part of what I've already talked about in the way that we partner for success with one another and to get together on the ground in some of those local areas and really kind of team approach how we're working with these youth together. And then especially on the workforce side, really recognizing that it is universal services as we're coming together in our integration. And although you certainly never want to lose your specialized services that you have for your youth, that we are really kind of overcoming the way in which sometimes we've been very siloed. And then how do we do a better job of working together to make the most of this wonderful opportunity just to have $1.9 million in the region to serve youth with disabilities is a wonderful thing. And so I know that the state is looking at the Gulf Coast to set the example and hopefully try to be the model. I think with the state, we really shared what didn't work well for us last year and some of the lessons learned, and they're really paying attention. And so I think the best way for us to keep moving forward, Cheryl, is to just roll up our sleeves with one another and just say, okay, this is working, this doesn't work. And in some areas, may work one way, in another area, based on that particular region or whatever, it may work better. So that's where we are.
So we have 26 offices, 24.
Yes. 24 offices.
We have 24 workforce center offices that we're supposed to be working with. Some of you are integrated already. Jolandra, you're integrated in Humble and Liberty and Lake Jackson. Susan's office is integrated in Lake Jackson. So we have Bay City. Okay. Okay. So I knew one of them from down south. So 3 offices already integrated, and we're slowly getting there. Okay, the legislative session said that we're supposed to be integrated by October 2018. It's not going to happen. Okay, we're just slowly getting there. I think the next one is regional office going to Timmins, and I know Mr. Fleming has been saying that for the last year or so, but they're getting there probably sometime in the summertime. I'm not sure who the next one is, but our goal is to move to the centers. In the meantime, we have to work with them kind of like far away, from your office to their office. Our goal this year is to work at your local area, okay? Each of the liaisons, mostly transition counselors, will be working with the local workforce centers to place their students. We're going to try very hard for you guys to have that communication.
It's what I call team-based case management, sort of.
You'll have access to the employers. They'll have access to our work experience trainers. Hopefully you'll be communicating with each other. Hey, what's going on? Hey, they need work experience trainers here every day, whatever, instead of it going to us. Okay, I don't want to be getting calls from Miguel at 10 o'clock at night that they need interpreters.
It'll be the local area, that team's kind of local responsibility to drive the success of what happens in your area with Summer Earn and Learn. We're going to set up all the parameters and put everything that we can in place, but really through Workforce Solutions and BR, it will really kind of be that local collaboration that really creates the success of the program.
It's really basic question. If the kids pay $100
I know that it's just state dollars that come down that get administered. I think it comes through on the VR side, right? And then we get contracted.
We receive the pre-ETS funds. Yes, and the workforce centers administer the funds, and they receive $10 per hour.
Yeah.
Students. Correct, and it's 20 hours maximum.
I think it's 20 hours minimum.
Minimum.
It's 20 hours minimum.
Sorry,
I
So
mean,
they're
it could
actually earning good
potentially,
money.
and we could customize that if it needed. I mean, that's not we would like to say 20 hours minimum, but that may not be feasible. But then that's something that will have to be worked out.
But we do have a minimum of 5 weeks.
5 weeks.
Yes. Yes.
There, in my area of the state, there's a very active volunteer group that helps senior with taxes. Well, the tax season is now over. Apparently, the application for this activity is pretty complicated. Can volunteers help parents fill out the forms, or does it have to be by the rehabilitation person?
The application should not be complicated, first of all. Second, the application this year is going to be online, so the counselors are just inputting information. They will be inputting information in our SharePoint to make it a lot easier for everybody, for the counselors, for us, for the customers. Are you sure you're talking about the Summer Earn Learn application?
Yeah, what I heard was that the application was complicated as far as getting the.
That one was for work experience trainers.
Oh, for work experience.
Yes, and I agree with them. It is complicated. It takes a while. It has to go through Austin to get approved. Then it has to go back down to us again. Those are for our work experience trainers.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. I wish I had control over that, but we don't.
I understand.
Kathy?
Will you have someone that would be able to explain to students and customers if the student is on SSI and concerns about their benefits being cut? Is there someone that you can explain and go over that with them?
The Smurf. We have Smurfs in our area. It's SMURFS. Also, we have the Houston Center for Independent Living to provide information. It's benefits planning specialists. And also, Kathy, we could pay for that service. Just get with me. We could pay for that service to tell a student how much they can earn and all that, without getting penalized for Social Security. Who's first? Yes, and I think we passed that last year. We're going to pass it again this year. I think it came from Susan's office, actually. So, yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Last year, they said that this initiative, like you said too right now, is about the higher education youth. But they said that it was limited to just the summer, and initially they said it was potentially going to be. So these funds of this initiative
Yeah, these funds are just for the summer. However, as I understand, and I'm learning that we now have year-round work experience dollars to do this, or we will be getting, if we don't have them yet, year-round work experience dollars to do this